Hello, this is Mark Sabatella from Outside Shore Music. In this video, I want to talk about quartal voicings, and I'm not going to go deep into the subject. I just want to show you what they are and a little bit about how they're used. This is an example. This is a Charles Ives song called The Cage, and it starts right off with a series of these. So quartal, Quartal, meaning fourths. It's built on the interval of a fourth. And in particular, in this piece, they are perfect fourths for this passage here. So this introductory passage, we have D sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, and B, right? So these are all perfect fourths. That is the shape here. It's just a stack of perfect fourths. Is this a particular chord? No, not necessarily. Not in conventional sense of triads and so forth. It's several notes played at once. In that sense, it's a chord, but it's a quartal chord. So then the next one we have is A sharp, D sharp, G sharp, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. Also all perfect fourths. And then, again, all perfect fourths. Now, this next one, I do need to make an observation about this. It looks like, oh, here's A and it's still sharped from before, so A sharp, D sharp, G sharp, all these sharps carry over. But one thing to know about this piece is it tells you at the bottom, all notes not marked with a sharp or flat are natural. This is a reasonably common thing to do in, music of this type, music that's essentially atonal and maybe has long measures. You don't want to have to keep track of accidentals, so composers adopt the convention that a note without an accidental is just a natural. So these are all naturals. But again, A, D, G, C, and F, all perfect fourths, right? And then we have a B sharp, E sharp, A sharp, D sharp, G sharp. Again, all perfect fourths, and then perfect fourths. So these are all perfect fourths in this piece here. So if I try to play it, I'm not going to try to play the rhythm that's called for because I'm reading. All perfect fourths moving around as a shape. They're not individual chords. There's not a chord progression being implied here. We're using these sounds for what they are. Now, I do, though, want to talk about how jazz musicians have adopted this sound of this stack of fourths and really kind of incorporated it into a style that maybe does involve chords. So I'm going to flip over to one of the more famous examples of this sort of thing, jazz pianist McCoy Tyner, and in his solo on a song called Impressions, which is essentially a lot of D minor. You could possibly say it's a lot of G7. Either way, it's all the white keys, all right? And so if we look at his voicing, he plays a nice low D at the bottom. That kind of establishes that maybe he's thinking D minor. And then if you look at his voicings that he plays in his left hand, we have stacks of fourths. And then so we have perfect fourths, perfect fourths. This one is a tritone and a fourth. He's not keeping the perfect fourth shape, which would be this. He's modifying it to stay within the key. Now, none of these voicings on their own says D minor. None of them sound like D minor. This does not sound remotely like a D minor chord. None of them sound anything like a D minor chord. However, that sound, if you have the D on the bottom, you can just walk this shape around with that D in the bass, and we will perceive it as minor because when we hear the F, we're hearing it against that D, and we're like, oh yeah, that's D minor. So you can really take this quartal sound and not just play one of them, but move it around, and that combined with the bass note will create the impression, as it were, of a D minor chord. And this is one really common way we see quartal voicings used in a jazz context.